unprecedented size with the declaration that the whole Nazi apparatus of repression and aggression would be indicted as criminal as well, including the Nazi Party leadership, the High Command, the Reich Cabinet, the Gestapo, the SS, with its hundreds of thousands of members, and the SA Brown Shirts, whose rolls numbered above 4.5 million. With harsh irony, the city of Nuremberg, the mystic home place of Nazism, was picked as the trial's location.
The courthouse was only a mile or so away from the Nuremberg Stadium, where Hitler and Goering and Hess had screamed their defiance of other countries.
The treasure chest of the German Empire was a desert of ruins and rubble. More than 400,000 people had lived here before the war. Half that number still remaining in the city were without roofs over their heads.
There it is. Fancy. Pretty fancy. And I think they used the balcony in your day. Because I've seen photos taken from on high, kind of down on the road. There might have been a stage.
Many of those things can be movable. Even in a little restaurant, we were at a trick of the Navy last week. How we thought we had the place all to ourselves, and the access to the end, and we were all down on you might move to another table. They changed the whole atmosphere around.
Interesting.
Very good.
Okay.
Little sort of low partitions that had flowers in them.
Right.
Right. When they get the wall, the things are all around.
So the shows was it kind of dinner in here and then a performance, or
At the same place. Yeah.
in the same place? Okay. And kind of tuxedo waiters and the whole fancy.
Fancy as much as they could.
Yeah.
Little shop one.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Thank you. But there were a couple of killings every month during the trial. You know, just kind of random.
Yeah.
People would. You know, sometimes they were out drinking in the wrong place or whatever. But a couple of soldiers were killed every month through the whole trial, and Jackson would get memos about that. Actually, do you remember this incident? A Russian got killed in front of the Grand Hotel. He was Rudenko's driver. And Rudenko was furious about this. He was allegedly killed by an American. I don't think anything ever was determined.
A lot of strong opinions, there's no doubt about that.
Right. When Jackson was in his office.
We had an office that led into his office. And then he had an in-between office.
Was that
and
Elsie?
an outstation. Well, Elsie was in the same office in the room with him.
Okay.
But they had to go through the opening office that I was in.
Okay. And where was Bill?
Bill would have been in the in-between time, or else in the in-between office, or, well, he wasn't there that much at the building. When he was, he'd be either in the in-between or in the one room with his dad. I remember 75-gallon tank capacity, 3 miles per gallon. And a supercharger kicked in when he hit 40.
Neighborhood?
No, nothing at all. I know a guard post in front, and just we on the side.
Some of the lawyers lived across the street, down at the end of the block here. There was a house of them. There was another house here. Whitney Harris lived in that house there for a bit.
When they came to visit us, though, they didn't tell us
Right,
where they were from.
you didn't know where they were coming from.
They could have come from the other side of the city.
And there was a mess out here for these guys in a house or something at the end of the block. They would go and get meals there. Did you have any? Because you had a cook. And
We had a cook here, big back on.
Right.
Guard post would have been somewhere around here.
I know it's I want a picture of you with 33.
Ground space here.
Right.
The volleyball
You could walk in the yard. Because there was the house,
Sit around.
and then there was a garden house, right? That kind of
A garden house. That's our, he dressed out the deer.
Okay.
And there was a volleyball court.
Right, on that, to that side of the house. And then, was it wooded on the property?
I think so. We never went there, but I think it was.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it was quite an estate.
Quite it really was.
Yeah.
Now they decided it was too large for just one house, so they
Right.
tore it all down.
And did you have any sense of a family having been kicked out? Or
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a common practice whenever we liked your property. Goodbye.
Right. Right. And their furnishings and so forth were what you used.
Exactly, yeah.
And your space was right inside the entrance. That's where
Correct,
you
right.
was
Correct. I could see the guardhouse, and everybody had to come to the front steps.
And were you just living on a cot? Or did you
Yeah,
actually have
it's sort of a soft bed, sort of a single bed.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
small.
Okay. Were you warm enough?
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember any worries I had.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of external color now. It was pretty drab when we were here.
Father Fuchs, were you mindful of your points?
Mindful of, oh yeah. But I ignored them. I was quite aware that I had a much better deal than the points offered.
Yep.
Jackson became aware of that too. And Christmas time he sent a letter home to Mom.
Right.
Thanking her for not pressing me to come home.
What was his initial reaction to having a bodyguard attached to him?
I guess he was pleased to have some security. So he didn't have to worry about the backside.
Do you know why you were the kid he picked?
I don't know why, except we had.
I mean, were you the best marksman in your group
We
or
had
something?
no rifle practice. Some of that over here.
Okay.
We would have not known that.
Okay.
I don't know what other Army papers they would have got. I just wanted replacements.
Right. Maybe because you'd had combat experience.
Well, that was under him. That was part of it. In fact, I think all of the soldiers who were white helmeted in the courtroom were given that honor. And to really walk behind there.
I see. Okay. And maybe volleyball court
Right.
was kind of somewhere in this area.
Like maybe where the trees are, where the house was.
Okay.
Kind of garden shed or sit around kind of place.
All right.
Or you dressed out for deer.
Just hanging on the porch of the house? Is that
We just had it hung up and we dressed it. He wasn't just a bookman, he was
Oh, we have, but it's a woman there and they say, I have no time. Oh,
okay? Okay.
don't know why we are here.
the roof of the place that we had been in obviously had been replaced. Right. 3 stories been cut down too.
Right. Yeah, I'll show you some photos later on my computer, which are the house in the 1920s compared to the house in 1945, and you can see how it was short. So I think all of this was the property. It's all divided and built into separate houses. But I think
We actually never did a tour around the grounds.
he did, or he did not. I think he had a very sort of business-like, functional attitude. And I think he found it, I don't know, maybe a little depressing. This is kind of hardship duty to study in this place.
There was work to do.
There was work to do.
And he certainly had a focus on what he was trying to do. And his vision was
Her actually was, in the army, in the government. He was a Nazi. So this is the kind of back edge of the house. I think, or maybe it even went further. You can see how it's all been subdivided and built.
Look familiar?
Yep.
Oh, daar heeft zo'n park.
That's security. Alrighty.
Yeah. So, shall I drop you down here?
Daar ging niet tevoren, het is een parkplaats. En daar zit ze memoriam, hè? Ja. Als we willen wachten, ja, we wachten nog in.
So I had to learn Latin. I didn't know Latin. 9 years studying theology to 1955. Mr. Jackson was very pleased that I was going to the seminary in maybe May or June, or at least of 46. I had told him what I was going to do. And so he was pleased, so he let me come back with him in August. And I was home in August, 15th of August. And in September I was at seminary already. He was very pleased. When I made my first Mass, his secretary came to my first Mass, an ordination in first Mass. If Jackson were still alive at that time, he would come too. Okay. So he died in October of '54.
And okay, you have to go. I thank you very much. It was very interesting for me to meet you and to listen to you.
Very interesting experience, yeah.
The other journalists are waiting, and so we have to stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mein Name ist Siegfried Zellhilfe vom Presseamt der Stadt. Siegfried Zellhilfe, Presseamt der Stadt. Schön, dass Sie da sind.
After hearing again what we heard 55 years ago of these atrocities, I am humbled just to acknowledge that I was just a witness in the courtroom. I was just a plain infantry soldier, got wounded in the Hurtgen forest. I found out just 2 or 3 years ago that in the forest we had 30,000 battle casualties. But I had this special assignment by my battalion commander when I came back from the hospital in England. We ended up the war in Czechoslovakia. We pulled back to Ansbach to give more room for the Russians to make advance. Our regiment, 26th Infantry Regiment, got the assignment to police the SS prisoners who were at that time in Nuremberg, because there was so much rubble in the streets. Most streets were not passable. And so to clear out the streets, we were given that responsibility to supervise the prisoners. My battalion commander, John G. Corley, gave me the assignment. At that time I was on a special squad with the battalion headquarters, a bazooka team. And he said, you want to make sure that nothing bad happens to this chief prosecutor when he comes. We have to provide security for him. You have the job 24/7 to make sure nothing happens to him. I was the only bodyguard he had for that year, from summer 45 to summer 46. France and Germany, and France and Russia met to complete the plans for the trial, because they had to work to organize this international military tribunal. I was just an innocent bystander, you might say. I had no involvement except as an observer, but I was only 20 years old at the time. I had just been two semesters in the university, and so I had no background in law, but I just knew that it was a big opportunity, so I stayed on. I could have gone home for leaving the service, but I decided to stay on. Mr. Jackson was pleased enough with my staying on for him that at Christmas time in '45, he sent a letter home to my mother thanking her that she didn't insist that I come home.
Gerade mal 20 Jahre alt und habe eigentlich nur relativ unschuldig daneben gestanden als Beobachter. Ich hatte 2 Semester studiert an der Universität, aber ich hatte keinerlei Vorkenntnis in Jura. Ich habe aber gespürt, dass dies eine große Gelegenheit.
We had what you call the first floor. That's when we had an office. I think it was number 210. Jackson had three rooms. Everybody who came to visit him in his office here at the courthouse had to go through the room where I was to get to his rooms. We lived at Fther Moritz, 33 3rd Lindenstrasse, and there was a guard post on the road, and I had a guard particularly in my position right in the opening of the house, where I had windows seeing everybody coming in. The courtroom itself, Jackson was there perhaps half, maybe better than half of the time. Wherever he was, I was. And the court proceedings were, for the large part, very boring. Except for the incidents, as Mr. Hamburg was saying here, all the kind of atrocities and injustices that were brought forth. I can remember deaths in the Nazi concentration camp of 90,000 people. All of the accused had plenty of reason for being there, and my overall impression of the trial was that it was very fair. The accused had all the advantages of all the 4 countries that were trying them. They were better off in their position than if they were either French or German or English or American, because the 4 countries that tried them gave them the advantages that each country had in their trial. It was an eminently fair trial. And that was Jackson's purpose, as far as I understand, that the world can see that it was not just the vindication of the one who conquered to get rid of them. At first, I know the Russians, the Soviets, and the English would like to say, just go out and shoot them all. But Jackson was very strong in saying we must offer the world an opportunity to see the wrongness, and also following that, the appropriate punishment for wrongness, and to follow the rule of law. He had a very good worldwide picture of how people needed to see that people are responsible for their actions, and that we ourselves as government leaders are responsible for our actions, and that's where his opening statement said it so very well.
We are here in the attic, and we have realized over the last couple of decades, so to say, that there's an extreme interest in learning more about the Nuremberg trials, and that more and more groups and people, tourists, whatever, wanted to visit the room, and that was not possible because the room, the actual courtroom, is still a courtroom for the Bavarian justice system. So after the 60th anniversary celebration, which we had in 2005, the idea was born to have some sort of museum exhibition attached to this courtroom. And we found this attic, which was unused and which could be sort of renovated and could be the place for a little exhibition explaining what was going on from the 20th of November 1945 until the 1st of October 1946 in the main trial against the German war criminals, and after that in this room also for the 12 subsequent trials which took place until the 12th of April 1949. So quite a period of time, an important period of time which we tried to cover here. So the problem with this exhibition is that there is not an awful lot of space, as you can tell. It's an attic up here, and it's only four or three rooms that are available, that were available for hosting this exhibition. Therefore, for example, all these posters are sort of, not in a, how do you say, orthogonal, straight way, but
angled,
slanted, angled, as you say, just to spare a little.
It's around the time of Goering's testimony in March of 46.
Wait, that's you?
That's right there. Same dark hair.
Morris was at the time.
Morris from Brooklyn.
That's so neat.
Well, I bet. Hey, Father? Father Fuchs. Look familiar?
Missed you at lunch.
Good.